I'd like to call the meeting of the Goodyear Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Goodyear for October 17th, Wednesday night. That's going to be held here at the Star Point Residence Club to order. And while we don't have a flag, I'd ask you to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Snippers over here.
Here, you can.
Thank you. All right.
All right. Let the clerk note that all members of the commission are present. And I would like a next order of business is the minutes. I'd like a motion to approve the minutes held of the special meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission of October 3rd, 2007, please.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the special meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission held on October 3rd, 2007.
I have a motion from Commissioner Miller.
I'll second.
I have a second from Commissioner Loretano. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Okay. Next order of business is public comments, and I have one individual who would like to speak on a non-agenda item, and his name is Jeffrey Hood. And I'm going to pass this. You have 3 minutes, sir, and I'm going to pass this over to the Secretary of the Commission. Mr. Hood, podium's yours.
Thank you for entertaining my request. I believe in exchanging emails with Katie Wilkins and the staff of Goodyear, I understand that you may have been presented with an earlier email that I had sent expressing my concern for the proposed location of 303. I understand that that is not part of your general plan amendment. I just would like to point out publicly that it is constantly referred that the City of Goodyear adopted the proposed route, and none of the people in my neighborhood, and certainly not myself, are citizens of Goodyear, so we didn't get to vote for any proposed route, yet it affects us. And second, that because it was apparently voted back in 2003, therefore it is not considered part of the plan amendment, so we can't talk about it here. I would just pose the issue that any proposed use of the land in what you refer to as Planning Area 3 presumes a location of a road that none of the local residents got to vote on. And fundamentally, I think that's wrong. I would also point out that in an email I received from Ms. Wilkins earlier today, she equates the preferred alignment per Goodyear for the Route 303 as being generally in accordance with Alternative F that was studied under the McDOT process, I believe, back in 2003, as being generally the same. Well, it's not. And it's not if you live where I live. The Alt-F alignment was indicated to us as being 300 to 400 yards to the east of our properties. The current proposed alignment, as endorsed by Goodyear, is about 100, maybe 120 feet from my house. And we've had no say-so in that matter. So I would just ask on behalf of myself, there may be other residents in my area that are in attendance today, but on behalf of myself, that you simply consider that we've had no opportunity to have any input on the proposed route upon which your Planning Area 3 presumes for moving forward.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments. You are in contact with Arizona Department of Transportation and MAG as far as these issues are concerned, and while the Planning Commission takes your comments seriously, and the City Council also will be taking those comments under advisement, we think the appropriate planning agency that would be best served to address your comments is both MAG and ADOT. So thank you very much. Is there anybody else who would like to speak to the Commission on any subject that's not on the agenda? If not, I will move to the next item, disclosure of ex parte communications. Does anybody on the Commission have any ex parte communications? No. Okay. Next item of business, old business, is case 06-200-00017, Savannah Heights rezone It's a public hearing to request a rezone of 17.82 acres located generally on the northwest corner of Sarville and Yuma from A agricultural district to PAD, and the applicant and the staff have recommended that this item be withdrawn. And does anybody want to pull this item from the consent agenda? And if not, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
Motion, Mr. Chair, to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Second. And I have a second. I have a motion from Commissioner DeBroker, Vice Chair DeBroker, second from Commissioner Williams. All those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it, 7-0. Thank you very much. Okay, new business, item A. We are going to change the public agenda a little bit, and instead of taking the Arizona State Land General Plan amendments in one group, we're going to get a summary of them presented by staff, and then we're going to take each individual case by action. I have one comment, and I will recognize that person, and you can decide which planning area is the appropriate place for you to make your comment, and I'll ask you to come up at that time. Okay? Thank you very much. So the first order of business is we're going to have a general overview of case 0770000004 through 0770000007, the Arizona State Land Department Major General Amendments. And these are a public hearing, and the commission will take action on each individual item. And the staff member, Planning Manager Joe Schmitz, will give us the overview of all of these areas. Mr. Schmitz.
Chairman Gelser, commission members, members of the public, good evening. Tonight's the second of two public hearings that have been scheduled to review the major amendments to the general plan that were submitted in 2007. The first hearing was held on October 3rd at the regular meeting of the Commission at the Justice Facility on Litchfield Road, and the state statutes require that the second public hearing be held in a different location, so that's why we are meeting tonight in Estrella. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to provide the Commission with a brief overview of the projects and to give the public an opportunity to comment on the general plan amendments. City staff is prepared to make a recommendation to the Commission tonight regarding the disposition of these requests, and the Commission will be asked to make its own recommendation to the City Council on each of the general plan amendments that are presented. There are essentially two major general plan amendments or applications that we received this year from two applicants, and they cover over 16,400 acres in the southern part of Goodyear, south of the Gila River. The first general plan amendment to be reviewed tonight was filed by the City of Goodyear Community Development Department on behalf of the Arizona State Land Department. The State Land Department owns 10,977 acres, and I'll note that that's a small correction from the 11,060 that was reflected in the agenda. Those being located within the City of Goodyear. As part of a pre-annexation agreement between the department and the city that was executed earlier this year related to the Sonoran Valley annexation, the department agreed for its lands to be annexed into the city if the city would process certain general plan amendments for its property. Land use changes have been proposed on 8,554 of the approximately 11,000 acres. And so for ease of processing and discussion, the 11,000 acres have been broken down into 7 planning areas, numbered 1 through 7 from north to south, and they're located in the following locations. The first, planning area 1, is located north of I-10, west of Cotton Lane. It's got the Perryville Prison on it, and it actually has no changes proposed. The balance of the planning areas. Planning area 2 is in the vicinity, or actually located in King Ranch. 2 parcels have been King Ranch project and a parcel down by the Gila River. These 2 parcels likewise were covered under previous general plan amendments and are proposed for no change at this time. Planning Area 3 is located on the east side of Rainbow Valley Road in the vicinity of Elliott Road, Narramore, and Ray Road. Planning Area 4 is located east of Rainbow Valley Road, roughly along the Germain Road alignment. And Planning Area 5 is located west of Rainbow Valley Road and basically between Ocotillo Road and Queen Creek Road alignments. Planning Area 6 is located on the eastern edge of our planning area boundary. This would be the Litchfield Road alignment extended southward. And it runs from roughly between Pecos and Germain Road down as far as Riggs Road. And Planning Area 7 is located on the west, well, actually on either side of Rainbow Valley Road in the vicinity of Hunt Road. Planning Area 7 also has no changes proposed in it. So of the 7 planning areas, it was determined that only 4 of the 7, areas 3, 4, 5, and 6, involved a change in land uses from those that were shown on the current general plan. And during the presentation on these 4 planning areas, Brett Birmingham with our staff will outline the changes proposed within each planning area and provide the Commission with the staff recommendation for each area as he goes along. Commission will have an opportunity to ask questions of staff and the applicant. It's suggested that the public then be provided with an opportunity to comment as each area is considered. And then once the public comments have been concluded and the Commission has no more questions, the Commission will be asked to make a motion on its recommendation to the City Council on that particular planning area. Also proposed is the second general plan amendment for 7,845 acres located in what was formerly known as Estrella Mountain Ranch, and where we are tonight, and which is now referred to as Region 3 of Estrella. And that's the area shown outlined in white on this aerial photograph. It's located south of the Queen Creek Road alignment and extends south down to Patterson Road. And if I push this real hard, I can get Patterson Road up in there for a second. I'll let it back. Region 3 is bordered by 3 of the Land Department's general plan amendments and a 4th planning area 7 down at the south end, which again had no land uses change proposed on it. During the Estrella general plan amendment, Farhad Tabasoli with our staff likewise will outline the changes, provide the Commission with the staff recommendation. We'll stand for comments as well as the applicant, and then as with the other requests, we would ask the public be given an opportunity to comment, and then we would ask the Commission to make its recommendation on that case. So that's how we intend to proceed, and with that said, I'd like to turn it over to Brett Birmingham to take you through the State Land Department's land use or general plan amendments. Brett?
Hang on for a second, Brett. I got to open the public hearing. Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing for case number 07-700-0004, and this is the Arizona State Land Department Planning Area number 3. Staff presentation at this time.
Thank you, Chairman Gelser, members of the Commission, members of the public. This exhibit is still a little bit fuzzy. As Joe mentioned, I will talk briefly about planning areas 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so I wanted to put this back up briefly. And now we will be zooming into planning area 3. Again, the same exhibits that we saw at the last Planning Commission hearing. What we are showing here is the exhibit on this side here shows the existing general plan, and the exhibit on this side shows the proposal. So, as you can see, Planning Area 3 consists of 2 parcels. They're outlined in dotted black. south of the Gila River, east of Rainbow Valley Road, and the proposed 303 corridor west of the Estrella Master Plan Community. Collectively, the parcels are 1,120 acres. And in this particular area, you can see that the only change was that the low-density residential in this area was relocated to the north area. And this was done in an effort to promote compatibility with the existing custom large lot area in the Estrella Master Plan Community. And essentially, in this planning area, this concludes staff's presentation. Staff is recommending approval, and staff is available for any questions.
Any questions of staff from the commission? Seeing none, any comments from the applicant? Ms. Green? Are we okay?
We are fine.
Thank you. Okay. Any questions from the commission on anything from the applicant? I have one public speaker, Ms. Waldo. Would you like to speak on this item?
Yes, I will.
Please come to the podium and identify yourself for the commission.
I'm Kathleen Waldo, and I live in Rainbow Valley. I live next to Area 3. My question is I'm a winter resident here only, so I need to know is where you have your Area 3, is this going to be where your city boundaries are going to be, or are you considering moving further west? Because right now I'm not in Goodyear, I'm not in Buckeye, I'm in the county, and I was wondering if in the future, are you planning on annexing me because you're making all these plans to deal with the state trust property? So I'm wondering, are you looking at annexing? Where's your city limit line? Right now I know where it is because you have a sign there, but that's a quarter mile from me. What do you...
I'm gonna ask staff if they can,
I live right here.
We can't see it.
See it? There's a number of us who live right here. So are you looking at Rainbow Valley being the edge of Goodyear in the future? Or are you just making a wish list here?
I'm gonna defer to staff, but I think you're in our planning area, but you're not in our incorporated area.
Exactly.
Do I have that correct?
So my question is, are we moving towards incorporation here in another year or so, and things are going to happen to us, and I won't be here to come and speak?
We welcome you if you'd like to join the city. The city has,
I don't want to join the city. I'm happy in the county.
and that is your pleasure.
But here you're making plans with things that affect me. And whether it's a road, it's a whatever. We now enjoy having the state trust land as it is, not having houses built behind us again. When I bought my home, I was told there would never be anything built there. So now we're seeing changes coming into place, and I can't do anything about it because I don't belong to your community.
I take your comments under advisement. All I can tell you is that the state trust land has been annexed by the city, and the city has an obligation to plan that state trust land with following state statutes and the densities that are required over that land. And what the city has done has looked at all the state land that has come in through this most recent annexation and has worked on an average density throughout the whole entire land mass that has been brought into the city. The proposed land uses have changed, but where you live, if you'll notice, it is rural residential.
Exactly.
Inside and outside, that land is being planned as rural residential, and that's what it will probably be developed by. I'm sorry to tell you that your salesperson was not truthful to you. State land will be developed It all will be.
Okay, all right. At what time was this portion annexed? I must have missed that at the same time you did down by Mobile?
Yes, that is correct, ma'am.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
No? Am I wrong?
Mr. Chairman, a couple of things. The property that we're doing the land planning on for the general plan purposes was already in the city. It was not annexed as part of the Sonoran Valley. It was already in the city. The city has no plans to annex your property or any other properties outside the city. The city must follow state law in regards to annexation, which mandates that we have the majority of the property owners have to seek annexation, have to approve annexation. So we cannot annex your property unilaterally without you giving us permission to do that. You would have to come to the city and request annexation, or the majority of the landowners around you would have to request annexation.
Okay, all right.
So,
Thank you for that information. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak on this case? In that case, I am going to close the public hearing. Is there any commission discussion concerning this case? In that case, I would ask for a motion to approve case number 077000004.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve 077000004 as set forth in the agenda.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Loretano and a second from Commissioner Bay. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it, 7-0. Okay. Next order of business, I'm going to open the public hearing for case number 077000005, which is planning area number 4 of the state land. And I'm going to ask Mr. Brett Birmingham again to make the case on behalf of the city.
Thank you, Chairman Gelser. Members of the Commission, members of the public, Planning Area 4 is 599 acres. The property borders Newlands Estrella Master Plan Community to the north and east, Arnold Baker Farms to the south, and other private holdings to the west near Rainbow Valley Road. Pecos Road is the northern boundary. Germain Road is the southern boundary of this area. Planning Area 4, as you can see, contains, again, proposed existing general plan, the proposal that we have this evening. There's a variety of land uses in the proposal. The land uses were revised in an effort to better plan around the major roadway network in this area. So you're seeing higher density residential on either sides of the roadways. And the other change was relocating the commercial parcel. You can see that the commercial parcel was up here. Now it's being moved to the south in a more appropriate location adjacent to the major roadways. Planning Area 4 does contain a minor revision to the circulation plan that was approved with the general plan amendments last year, as was mentioned in our last public hearing. And Figure 17 shows the arterial roadway at the Germain Road alignment right here, continuing northwest in an effort to connect to the Rainbow Valley Road, which would bisect the area. The arterial roadway does not have the ability to have an immediate access to the 303 freeway corridor due to interchange separation requirements, and staff has determined that the proposed revision is appropriate to improve circulation, and staff recommends approval. There was one thing. We do have some commercial property associated with this parcel, and one of the things that you did not see in the text of the general plan amendment, but that we have added, and it will go before the council. The text of the general plan has been revised to include a provision that all commercial areas associated with this application may contain residential land uses if they use vertical integration of these residential land uses. So it would allow mixed use as long as the residential was vertically integrated. and would potentially allow a maximum dwelling unit, a maximum density, of 12 dwelling units per acre. So if a future zoning proposal chose, they could propose to have mixed use, but future development proposals would have to show that the residential was vertical integration. And this essentially concludes the presentation for Planning Area 4. Staff is available to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions of staff on this planning area?
Just one.
Commissioner Bay.
Thank you, Chairman Gelsler. Brett, you mentioned that we were going to look at including residentials as long as it was vertical. Does that impact, in fact, then the densities in terms of residential? Will they be included in that as part of mixed use? And so we look at a larger number of living units, or how do we address that?
Chairman Gelsler, Commissioner Bay, yes, the general plan would identify that it's a possibility. The general plan has a base, a midpoint, and a maximum. Essentially, it establishes the parameters for future zoning and development proposals. So it provides the framework, but it does specify that residential may be permitted if it is vertical integration.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions of staff? Can I follow up? The vertical integration would be based on does mixed use have different height standards than our commercial, which is like 56 feet plus 10, I believe?
Chairman Gelsler, the Goodyear has a commercial zoning district. We don't have a mixed-use zoning district. We take care of that through unique PADs on a case-by-case basis. The objective for this provision was we didn't want to lose commercial by a potential future proposal that could contain horizontal mixed use. Typically, we've seen cases where the commercial could just disappear if higher density residential wanted to develop in those locations.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions of staff? All right. Opportunity for the applicant. Ms. Green, any comments? Or are we okay? We're okay. Thank you. Any other questions from the commission? All right. Anybody from the public would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Any commission discussion? Seeing none, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve case 0770000005, State Land Planning Area Number 4.
So moved, Mr. Chair, as recommended, as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion from Vice Chair DeBroker and a second from Commissioner Williams. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it, 7-0. Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing on case number 0770000006, which is the State Land Planning Area Number 5. Staff presentation. Brett Birmingham, you're up again.
Thank you. Chairman Gelsler, members of the commission, members of the public, again, the existing general plan, proposed general plan. This exhibit is a little bit difficult to see. You can see the black dotted line here and here, just to get you oriented. Planning Area 5, 1,535 acres. It's west of Rainbow Valley Road. It's between Queen Creek Road on the north, Ocotillo Road up to the south. The planned Rainbow Ranches community, which received an approval of a general plan amendment in 2005, is located north of Planning Area 5, and there's a McRae Holdings parcel, which received a general plan amendment approval in 2006, located to the southeast. As you can see, the parcel is proposed to contain a slightly higher residential land use designation in an effort to make the parcel more compatible with the adjacent development plans in the area. And there was discussion at the last Planning Commission hearing regarding the circulation network in this area. As you may recall, we discussed this proposed arterial, and we explained that the staff's proposal was to have a kind of a regional meandering arterial on the west side of the wash. And the Commission raised the question of why would we want to eliminate a connection to Perryville Road, and would we even want to add a connection to this configuration. And staff took that under advisement, and you have this sheet on your desks in front of you. Staff met with our traffic engineer and with engineering staff and conveyed the comments, and essentially the engineering staff and our traffic engineer concurred that the Perryville Road connection is important, and even more important than the meandering arterial. Staff noted that vehicles will be able to feed onto Rainbow Valley Road when they get to this point. They noted that they didn't think that this connection in this area was needed for regional connectivity. They felt that the configuration that you see here is adequate, and so you'll note that there still is a collector shown in this area, which would provide a link to this community that already has development plans. So essentially, the Commission was correct in that we needed to evaluate the Perryville Road connection, so that is back, and this is the proposal that staff is providing you at this time. And this concludes the presentation by staff. Staff is available to answer any questions that you might have.
Questions of staff? Commissioner Bay.
Thank you very
Let
much,
her rip.
Chairman. Sorry.
I'll be right behind you.
I have to tell you, I'm really disappointed in the removal of the meandering roadway, which was presented to us at the last meeting by RBF, stating that it was there to take advantage of the wash and provide a scenic route through that area. I was in favor of that route. I'm still in favor of that route. I had some contention because there was no through access provided for Perryville Road. And so what you've brought back to us is a through route for Perryville Road and an elimination of the meandering roadway, which I was in favor of. So I guess my position is, where's my road at? And what can we do about that? Because I thought that was going to be a great feature for that particular area, and I'd like to see that there. Now, if the engineers can justify the removal of that road for the reasons that it was actually put in, then I may be willing to consider the elimination of it. But personally, I'd like to see that meandering road there with the connectivity as initially presented to us. I hate losing that feature.
Chairman Gelser, Commissioner Bay, if I could add, one of the issues that staff was faced with the inclusion of the meandering arterial, there was a need to make that connection. It was bisecting the parcels. It was creating a lot of very difficult to plan and develop parcels. That was one of the things that staff noted. The other item that engineering and traffic staff noted was in their analysis, they represented that the regional connection, they believe, is still there because vehicles traveling in this direction can access the Rainbow Valley Road area. They can also continue to Perryville and head north.
Well, I agree that the connectivity is there. Clearly, the grid works in terms of circulation. However, it was presented to us that this was a feature because of the wash and the way that it was structured. This was going to be a meandering road that would provide a feature in the area, not necessarily designed for circulation, but more as an aesthetic pleasure, which we don't have a lot of that in Goodyear, and so I was in favor of that. So I'm really disappointed that that's gone. Sure, I'm done. Yeah, sure.
Other comments for staff?
I have a question.
Ms. Commissioner Morton?
Well, when we're talking about the flow of traffic, is Queen Creek at some point also going to hit Rainbow Valley Road and kind of meet up there? No? So that's just going to dead end there?
Yes.
Wow.
More reason to have that.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if that's ever planned to hook in.
Mr. Chairman, Commission members, if I could interject at this point. One of the things that we looked at and that was actually missing from the previous diagram, which is this is a copy of the previous alignment that was shown to you, was that we would still need some way to connect Ocotillo Road or Perryville Road back into this curving roadway. We wouldn't have essentially a 5-point intersection here with all the roads coming together at a single point. So something would have to happen to Perryville or Ocotillo before it got to that intersection with Rainbow Road. And one of the alternatives we looked at was actually bringing Perryville up into the curving road, which is one way to do it. And the other one was to bring Ocotillo over and curve it up into here, and then you'd eliminate this connection. What the traffic engineers and the engineering folks felt was that you would be bringing the traffic from Perryville and Ocotillo together at this point and funneling it into this intersection, which they felt was not as desirable. And that was probably the overriding reason that they recommended against it. So I just wanted you to have the full benefit of that argument. And they felt that the Perryville Road connection and reinstating it with the Ocotillo Road connection could serve the same purpose or the same function without funneling the traffic into a single point.
Well, you answered my question.
Other comments for staff? Don't move the diagram. My turn. I am going to be stronger than Commissioner Bay. I think what you've done is horrid. You've gone back to the grid. We had a nice feature that we could basically look at. We had meandering road along this beautiful wash that we're trying to preserve, and now we've just taken out that road and there's no connectivity. I was one of the people who wanted Perryville Road to come up and come into a T intersection so that people in Perryville could either connect and go up the scenic route, or they could come back down and hit Rainbow Valley Road, or they could turn at Ocotillo and make a right turn, run over to Rainbow Valley Road and go up it. The way it stands right now, if it stays this way, I'm going to be voting against this.
Well, Chairman Gelser, if I could just respond to it.
Sure. I mean, the traffic engineer isn't here to defend it, and I've done enough road counts to know that I think that would work. But Joe, come, please.
I would just ask for clarification on. I understand the idea of bringing Perryville up and teeing into the curvilinear road.
Right, that's fine.
But the Ocotillo Road connection over here would not stay in place.
I think there has to be some kind of connection there. I don't see why we're taking that out.
Yeah, why are we taking
Why are we taking that out?
Well, because we'd end up with the configuration that you're looking at here, which is bringing two arterials.
We don't need that curve that comes up from Ocotillo up into that curves up to the northeast. We're not asking for that. All we want is the curve from Perryville into the meandering road.
But
And then we want Ocotillo to just continues straight on. And it'll hit Rainbow Road and people can do their thing.
Yeah, originally it connected.
I'm struggling with this intersection here, how that would function.
Well, you presented us that intersection at the last meeting. We had no problems with that, and apparently no one seemed to care then.
Well,
The people between the Meandering Road and Perryville Road, if they're going to go north, they're not going to try to make a left-hand turn at that 135-degree angle. They're going to either come back to Perryville Road and go north and hit the T intersection, or they're going to go over to Rainbow Valley Road. If they're going west on Ocotillo, they're either going to go up the Meandering Road or they're just going to keep going west on Ocotillo or go north. By taking Ocotillo out, I think we've worsened the circulation in this area, and we're going to have people driving on non-arterial roads. They're going to drive through neighborhoods, which is what we don't want to do. That's my opinion, and let the traffic engineer go before council and defend it, because I think they're wrong.
Well, with all due respect, I'm not arguing the point of the Perryville Road extension. I am just struggling as to how we would make this intersection work to accomplish exactly to accomplish what I think you were describing.
If I can interject, if you don't mind.
And I apologize for this not...
Ocotillo was a through street. It was a major road that went all the way through the Rainbow Valley and connected at the Rainbow Valley into the Meandering Road, whatever name we're giving that road. There was never any question as to whether or not a driver was going to get to that quarter mile prior to Rainbow Valley and make almost a complete U-turn to go north. That was never an issue at any point. So that works. As far as I'm concerned, having a through major fair there works fine. The only issue was Perryville Road, which was cut off completely from any northerly path. And so the suggestion was to provide access for Perryville either to the Meandering Road, or my suggestion was to take it straight through, not eliminate the Meandering Road, but take it straight through and make those connections up at that point. So we didn't get anything that we asked for, but it's being presented as though this is what we wanted. So
I agree with Commissioner Bay 100%. I'm really disappointed in this.
Chairman Gelsler, Commissioner Bay, balance of the commission, I apologize if we've disappointed you, but the point I'm trying to make is the representation of this road coming into the curvilinear road in this alignment was a misrepresentation. They will not come together that way. They cannot both be through roads. Someone's got to give. There's going to be an intersection there. Now, the intersection could be made tighter, I suppose, to a minimum radius of some sort, but you're not going to bring them together like this. And likewise, if you extend Perryville north, you're not going to bring these two together here without one teeing into the other. And you determine which one you want to be the dominant one, and then you tee the other one. But they both can't be through. And I guess that's the dilemma that we were facing in trying to satisfy the desires expressed by the commission. So,
well, then the Trumpet intersection that Chairman Gelser suggested would work, and that would be our solution.
This one,
just to have that that Trumpet intersection into the other road would be fine, because really, you've got that long scenic road that comes from way up north. You got about 3-4 miles of a potentially scenic route, and we just sliced it right off of there. So I would rather see the Trumpet intersection in there of Perryville T&N and leave everything else the way it was. That would be my recommendation to the traffic engineers.
Chairman Gelser, Commissioner Bay, once again, I don't have any philosophical or technical issue with the Meandering Road. The only thing I'm pointing out is how these other connections would be made to it. And so...
So that's why they get
as I
paid for
understand-
being traffic engineers. They figure that out. We want the road, and they figure out how to align the traffic through traffic control.
Okay,
So-
and I'm just pointing out that we could bring Perryville up into here at an appropriate location, but Ocotillo then probably would come along here.
That's fine.
And then tee into it somehow.
Why can't Ocotillo go all the way through like it does? Why does it have to go up and tee in there? Why does it have to?
I mean, you have all these intersections, Joe, you have all these intersections on Grand Avenue going north through Surprise where they're very acute angles, and there's very little traffic trying to make that turn because the traffic is cutting off before they have to make an acute turn. And so what we're saying is leave Ocotillo where it is, so the natural flow is Ocotillo will head south, or people will make a left at Perryville. They're coming along Ocotillo, come up Perryville, go into the Trumpet intersection, and then proceed all along the meander. Right?
Yes.
If Chairman Gelser, Commissioner Barry, we certainly can evaluate that part of it, and the Commission's desire, not to have a T on this portion. I'm just trying to point out some potential difficulties with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Could somebody close the door, please? Thank you. Commissioner Williams?
If you're coming east on Ocotillo Road and want to go north up the meandering road, and we do with Perryville what Commissioner Bay suggests, wouldn't you turn left onto Perryville Road and go up to the meandering road?
Yes.
And you wouldn't need a 130-degree or whatever turn.
That's what we're saying. Well, I think we belabor.
And it's an arterial functioning only in one direction. I mean,
No, because they could go right or left. once they
unless
get
you
to that
design these
intersection.
two as pairs.
I don't
And they may
think
be close
I don't
enough that
think
you could
that's
design
necessary.
it to operate as a pair.
I think that's over-engineering, quite frankly. I don't think it's necessary to design those as pairs.
We will take it under, I think we belabored this point enough. And I don't think we're going to solve the issue, but I strongly recommend that we have a traffic engineer at council to defend however this circulation when it finally does come to council. So if we don't have a traffic engineer, I predict there's going to be some issues discussed.
Well, I don't really know how to proceed right now, because I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it now. I don't want to wait before it goes to council. Because we're going to make a motion on this, and as it stands right now, it's a grid.
Are we now discussing,
Yes.
because I have some questions, and it is a
Commissioner-
little difficult for me to see from this position, but is the suggestion that Ocotillo Road continue on east, and that Perryville would then be would tee into the whatever that road is? And so where is now, so Perryville actually becomes the meandering road? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and the purpose of the meandering road is to provide scenic view. Is that correct? I mean, are we interested in traffic circulation, or are we interested in the scenic view? I'm not clear on where we're going,
I think we want it all.
We want it all. Okay. I just wanted to know, are we talking the traffic circulation, or because for me, and maybe because I might not be the scenic type, but I want a straight road to get from point A to point B. That's what I want. So, I just want to know so we want a twofold, we want scenic and traffic circulation.
Where possible.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Does the commission want to amend the case at this point in time with having Perryville Road enter the meandering road in
So is that
a T?
Is that the appropriate way to include it Would that be, what would that be, an amendment or?
Harvey, how do we do this?
You would make a motion to amend. It'd be in a motion to amend the recommendation then to accommodate what you're, just exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we are, okay, first order of business is I would like to entertain a motion to amend, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize, I got a little farther along here. All right, any other questions of staff?
I have one more question.
Commissioner Loretano.
Sorry, it just came to me. When we're talking about the traffic circulation, when I'm looking at that, it looks like it would circulate better for people making, with the meandering road, making rights. It would keep it more circulated. I'm not a traffic engineer. Then rather, the T intersections will say it's going to make everybody stop. So it looks like it would flow better because people wouldn't have to stop. They could make it right. And you're thinking of Grand Avenue, made me think about that. A lot of those intersections just continue to go over. So.
Which, I'm not following your suggestion.
Well, when you're taking the meandering road and you want to get from point A to point B, you're not going to have to stop at a T intersection at a light, a four-way stop. You might be able to just continue, if you're going right, that direction to continue go. So I think,
Right.
and I'd like the traffic engineer to look. I don't know anything about traffic flow, but just from sitting in traffic, that seems to help.
Okay. Any other comments for staff? Okay. Opportunity for the applicant.
She's not touching this one with a 10-foot pole.
You're down and determined to get her up there.
The state representative has given her blessing. Okay, I've gotten that. Any comments from the public on this? All right.
Well, can we hear from RBF? Didn't they do that?
All right, Kevin, where are you?
I'd like to hear from RBF. Why did they bring that to us?
Kevin, please. Would you identify yourself for the record also? Thank you.
Be glad to, Mr. Chairman. Kevin Flugler with RBF Consulting. I really have nothing more to add than echo what Joe did an extremely thorough job of talking about the issues that were in front of our traffic engineers, the city traffic engineers, and that's essentially what was concluded. I agree with Joe wholeheartedly. Maybe just add one more point that I guess what could be contemplated or what was discussed to better accommodate the geometric challenge of these two roadways coming together would be something along the lines of a roundabout to make that function better. However, at a general plan level, we don't typically stamp out roundabouts and leave those to further studies through the zoning process. But I would concur with everything that Joe said.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the public? Any other questions from the commission? Okay. First, I would like to see if there is enough support for an amended motion concerning the roadway in this case. Can I get a motion?
Great.
Commissioner Williams?
Yeah, I'm trying to sort out which version we should recommend the amendment to. I recommend an amendment that would maintain the meandering road, that would minimize any changes, if there are any changes, to the junction of Ocotillo Road and the meandering road, but that would extend Perryville Road north a little bit and then northeast to a T intersection, or somebody used the term trumpet intersection, with the meandering road, probably, at least a half a mile north of Ocotillo Road.
All right, I have a motion. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any comments from the commission? Commissioner Lux? Commissioner Miller?
No.
Okay. All in favor of the amendment to the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
No. I believe I have a 5-2. Were you in aye? I have a 5-2. The motion carries 5-2. And could you Commissioner Watts and Commissioner Miller, please state your objections for the record.
Mr. Chairman, my objection lies in the fact that, I believe that in the interest of traffic circulation, that the folks that would come up the meandering road would prefer to go straight north on Rainbow Valley rather than continuing, up the meandering road to, some other destination. And it may not, serve the overall community by having a random meandering road, because you're still stopping Perryville at some point. So I would just prefer to either have one or the other, but not both.
Commissioner Miller?
I concur, and I also feel that I really am not a traffic circulation engineer, and I grant you that that doesn't make them always right, but it makes sense to me.
All right, thank you very much. We have an amended motion now. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve case 07700-00006, State Land Planning Area Number 5, as amended by the commission.
So moved, Chairman Gelser.
I have a motion from Commissioner Bay and a
I'll second.
from Commissioner Loretano. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? I'm sorry, the ayes have it, 6-1. Commissioner Miller voting nay. Would you like to state your reason, or is it the same?
It's the same reason.
All right, thank you very much. Moving along, now I'd like to open the public hearing for case 077000007, State Land Planning Area Number 6. Brett Birmingham, you're up again.
Thank you, Chairman Gelser, members of the commission, members of the public. Planning Area 6 consists of 5,300 acres, generally located east of Estrella, south of Pecos Road, and Estrella Mountain Regional Park. Planning Area 6 shares a west-south boundary with Estrella. This area here, again, existing general plan, proposed general plan. The property is contiguous to Goodyear's eastern municipal planning area boundary, which is at the Litchfield Road alignment, right here. And it extends just beyond Chandler Heights Road alignment in that area to the south. Planning Area 6 was planned in conjunction with the Estrella Region 3 planning efforts, and this exhibit here shows the land uses that Newland is proposing with their general plan amendment. The planning was done in conjunction to ensure compatible land uses, appropriate land uses adjacent to each other. You will note that there are employment and higher density land uses concentrated along the 303 corridor, and these land uses complement the Estrella plans. The community commercial centers are located to provide convenience services to neighborhoods that are within proximity. And you also note that rural residential land uses remain to the north area, adjacent to the Estrella Mountain Regional Park and the out parcel. There is a revision to Planning Area 6 that I would like to go over, and the areas that are proposed to change, this area here, I will put up a new exhibit, and we'll be looking at this area as well. Staff has been in the process of evaluating the density of the overall application, and in order to achieve the required density that we need to provide the State Land Department with, we did need to have this additional change. Essentially what has happened is 670 acres of low-density residential are being revised to low-medium density residential. Approximately 360 acres in this area and about 300 acres in this area here. So we still are, the densities get lower as you move outward. This essentially concludes the presentation from my staff. Staff is available to answer any questions that you might have.
Questions of staff? Commissioner Bay.
Thank you, Chairman Gelsler. Brett, is this change in density in regard to an agreement with State Land Department? Is this different than, I guess what I'm asking pretty much is that it was presented to us at the last meeting with sort of like the State Department blessings, and now it looks like they're looking for higher densities. Is this in concurrence with the state, or how did that come about?
Chairman Gelser, Commissioner Bay, yes, the development agreement has a density number that we need to achieve, and it's a gross density. And for the past few months, staff has been working with the State Land Department to come up with a kind of a calculation, if you will, to help them to feel comfortable and happy with this application, and to make them confident that they can achieve the density that they need with future zoning applications. And with this change, we have the state representatives have told us that this makes them happy and achieves the desired density that's referred to in the development agreement.
Okay, so just to summarize, when you presented the last time, those densities we felt were appropriate. However, they felt that they needed to get more out of it since then, or we were not there at the last presentation.
Chairman Gelser, Commissioner Bay, to clarify, we went into detailed calculations trying to figure out exactly how many potential dwelling units we could get in the entire 10,900 acres. And it was apparent that we needed to bump up one of the land use designations to allow for additional dwelling units.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Thank you very much.
Any other questions of staff? Commissioner Williams?
With the increased density in this area, is there adequate park space, open space in this planning area 6 with the increased density?
Chairman Gelser, Commissioner Williams, the parks and open space component is not shown in the general plan amendment. The parks and open space will be shown in the preliminary PAD stage. The Arizona state statute will not allow the city to place parks and open space designations on private property without the property owner's written permission. And in this case, the State Land Department, they are working to reach the density that was provided in the development agreement for this area. And so it's one of the tasks that we had to reach was to get to that density, and we are now to the point where we have reached the density where they are comfortable with. Next year, we will come before you with preliminary zoning on the entire area as well. And at that point in time, parks and open space will be identified, potential school sites will also be identified, and areas, certain infrastructure will be identified at that point.
Thank you.
Any other questions of staff? Brett, I have one. I think I asked this last time. There are 2 parcels here that are within this planning area but are not part of that. Are they owned? Are they in the city? Are they incorporated in the city, or are they county islands? Or could you tell me tell the record what those 2 are again?
Chairman Gelser, there are the 2 out parcels that you're referring to, this one here,
Right.
and also this one here. This particular property, how many property owners? There was an approved subdivision in this area, very old subdivision. I believe it's 5-acre lots. So we've got about 35 lots in this particular area. In this particular area, we've spoken with a few property owners here. My guess is that there are probably 6 to 12 property owners in this area as well.
And those people are unincorporated,
That's correct.
but within our planning area?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Harvey, we didn't hear that. Or Mr. Schmitz?
Northerly parcel is not in the city, but the southerly parcel is in the city.
Okay, thank you.
Back to Elmo. This one is in the city?
That one is,
They're both in the city's planning area, though, right?
they're both in the city's planning area.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions of staff? Any questions of is the applicant okay with this?
Yes, I'd just like to clarify, at the last meeting, what I said was we were working with staff on these proposals.
Okay, so now we're okay?
We're good?
All right, thank you, Ms. Green. All right, now I'm going to, any comments from the public before I forget? I'm going to close the public hearing, and any comments by the commission, or I will take a motion on this case.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we recommend approval of case 07-700-00007 for planning area 6.
I second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Lax and a second from Commissioner Miller. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it, 7-0. All right, next item of business is case number 07-700-00002, Australia Region 3 Major General Plan Amendment. I'm going to open the public hearing, and Farhad Tabasoli is going to give us the staff report. Take it away, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, and the public. Let me give you some contextual information about the site. Directly to the north, first of all, this is a 7,845 acre area owned by, for the most part, New England communities. It's bound to the north by Queen Creek Road, to the extreme south here by Patterson, but the vast majority of it is north of Riggs Road. It's bound to the west by Perryville Road and to the east by Litchfield Road. There have not been any amendments or any changes made to this general plan amendment proposal since our last meeting. I will say that the arterials that you see proposed here, the proposed alignments are consistent with the South Goodyear Circulation Framework Plan that came before you last year. And at this stage, what the applicant has done is arrange the land uses in kind of a logical configuration at some of the major arterial intersections. You can see that the more intense land uses are concentrated here to the north, which more or less would be the site of the proposed Estrella City Center South, so to speak, that the applicant is envisioning. You also have some concentrations of land use intensity further south here at what appears to be Riggs and around Bullard, and further to the west, as shown here. Having said that, I will say also that in terms of the residential density, what the applicant is proposing is actually a decrease in density, and that includes a decrease in the baseline density and the maximum that would be allowed. And this is in comparison with the existing land use designations for this area. And in fact, the for example, the low-density residential land use designation totals to a little over 2,700 acres. So the vast majority of the residential that you see here is low-density residential. With that, staff is recommending approval of this general plan amendment request because it's consistent, because of its consistency with the goals, policies, and objectives of the general plan. And with that, I'll conclude my presentation. And Ed Bull is here as well to entertain any questions you might have.
All right. Questions of staff? Questions of staff? Okay, I'll do my one question. Farhad, for the record, there are 2 parcels within this that are not a part of the application. Could you elaborate on what their status is as far as the plan goes in it, and do those parcels work with what's being proposed?
I'll attempt to answer that question, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. You're speaking of the property to the north here, which I believe is about 40 acres. Looks like a half section there. That is currently zoned for agriculture. It was not part of the preliminary PAD that came before the commission back in, or commission and council back in 1988. Although I haven't heard from the landowner directly, and perhaps the applicant can further, might have some more knowledge about the status of that parcel, but those landowners haven't come forward with any interest in developing that property anytime soon. And same goes for the property to the south, which I believe is about 5 acres.
Okay. So right now they're agriculture, and that's what they're zoned for, and that's what they're going to stay until someday in the future.
That's correct.
All right, thank you very much. Now we have an opportunity for the applicant to come forward and give his comments, and if he wants to elaborate on the NAP sections, that would be enlighten the commission.
Ed Bull, 702 East Osborne. We're very pleased with staff's recommendation and would request you concur with it. We look forward to working with the city and the out parcels someday when they're ready to plan their properties, and we're sure that they and the city and we will find ways to make sure that planning is compatible when the time comes.
All right, thank you. Questions of the applicant? Commissioner Bay?
No, I'm good.
All right, on that note, anybody from the public like to make a comment concerning this? All right, on that note, I'm going to close the public hearing. Any commission discussion on this? In that case, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve case number 07-700-00002, major general plan amendment for Australian region.
I have a motion and I have a second. I have a motion from Commissioner Miller and a second from Commissioner Locke. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the ayes have it, 7-0. Moving along to our next order of business. If you'll give me a minute to start through my paper here. All right, let me open the public hearing for case 07-200-00004, the Levinson 160 rezone. And the Levinson property is about 160.35 acres, located at the corner of Citrus and Lower Buckeye Road. And we'll let Mr. Williams make the staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before you tonight is the Levinson request for rezone and the preliminary plat. If it's okay with the commission, I'd be happy to provide one, or combine both cases into one presentation this evening.
I'm sorry, Rick. Yes, do them both together. We'll take separate motions. I apologize.
Oh, that's quite all right.
I was talking to the vice chairman for a minute there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Levinson 160 is located at the southwest corner of Lower Buckeye and citrus roads. And I would just indicate on the map, this is Lower Buckeye Road here. Heading north, that would be the Citrus Road alignment there. This property was annexed in July of 2000 and currently has a zoning of agricultural urban on it. The general plan identifies this area as low-density residential, which is a density of 2 to 4 dwelling units per acre. The applicant is a participating member of the MOU, which grants a density bonus of 0.25, making the baseline density for this development 2.85. I'd like to go back to the vicinity map and point out just the surrounding properties here. Directly north of the development would be the Pradera approved development. On the northeast corner would be the La Jolla Vista development. Directly east would be the Citrus Ridge development, along with county parcels just south of that. To the west and to the south, the property is bordered by the Las Brisas approved planned area development. The Levinson 160 proposes 422 single-family lots on 130 acres, as well as a 24-acre commercial site located in the northeast corner of the development. The residential component is comprised of 55 and 70-foot wide lots, as well as patio home court here in parcel number 3. I would like to note that parcel number 3 is not a part of the preliminary plat that's before you this evening. It is the applicant's intent to plat this at a later date. Also, with regards to the 55-foot wide lots, although it is not a standard, it's not the typical 60 by 100, 6,000 square foot lot that we normally see, I would point out that although these may be 5 foot smaller in the front, they are upwards of 450 to 500 square foot larger when you look at the total square footage of the lots. It's important to note as well with that is that there's still this lot size is still receptive to a very diverse product line that goes on that. For example, living space forward, side turn garages are all appropriate on a 55-foot wide lot. As I said, the 24 acres of commercial is located in the southwest corner. I would note that policy A2L of the general plan supports nodes of commercial where materials meet. The commercial will be governed by the prevailing C2 development standards. The development is served by 2 entrances off of each, one off of Lower Buckeye to the north, the other off of Citrus Road to the east. Residential streets will be developed to City of Goodyear standards. Typical residential streets will contain detached sidewalks as part of an amenity program to landscape the front. The development proposes 33.5 acres or 20.9% of open space. Amenities include a 13-acre central park, shaded ramadas, sports courts, lighted ball courts, picnic and playground areas. A citizen review meeting was held on July 26th at City Hall. There was no opposition voiced at this meeting. Before staff concludes the presentation, I do need to do a little housekeeping with the stipulations. I would direct your attention to stipulation number 2, the staff report for the rezoning. I would just point out that the date on that needs to be revised to October 9th, 2007 versus September 21st, 2007. There was a text amendment or a text revision made to this, and that is reflected in the booklets that were handed out to you this evening. I would also direct your attention to stipulations number 5 on the preliminary or on the rezoning and number 6 on the preliminary plat. I have given you a handout there We've revised the last sentence of that stipulation to be reflective of what's current in the development agreement that is currently under review by by city staff. That concludes staff's presentation. The applicant is available for any questions you might have as well as myself.
Questions of staff? Mr. Williams?
Rick, on the package I have, on the court home lot sizes, the narrative on page 8 lists them as 2,400 square feet, but the chart says 2,320, and the standard is 2,400. Is it 2,320 or is it 2,400?
I'm sorry, you said page 8 of the staff report?
Yes.
One second.
If I read that right.
Minimum lot is 2,400 square foot.
You revise the chart before it goes to council?
Absolutely, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions of staff?
I have a quick question.
Commissioner Loretano?
Yes, on page 9, it does mention playgrounds and tot lots. Are those covered? Those are covered, right?
Yes, ma'am, we
Okay.
would stipulate to that.
Commissioner Bay?
Sorry, just one quick question. You mentioned that, I think you said parcel 3 was not included. Can you indicate what parcel 3 is?
Yes, sir.
Did I miss that?
Mr.
Oh, I
Chairman,
see it,
Commissioner Bay,
okay.
that's the court home parcel.
Thank you. It was neatly camouflaged within it. I appreciate that.
Questions? Commissioner Miller, Lex, Roker? All right, Rick, in the applicant's presentation on page 3 of the introduction, in the paragraph, in the right-hand column, the second paragraph at the bottom of that paragraph, it says, due to grading constraints within the Las Brisas development, no trails can be connected with within the WAPA easement between the developments, otherwise known as this one and the one to the west of that.
Las Brisas development, sir.
Can you elaborate on why this is a problem? I mean, I see we have a retention basin in this area that connects to right adjacent to Las Brisas, and I'm sure that if I remember correctly on theirs, it was open space. What happened to graded stairs or trail or concrete that slopes downward?
Mr. Chairman, I think that's a fair question, and I think I can what you see before you is the preliminary plat for the Levinson 160. You'll note that there is a open space track. This is the eastern border of the Las Brisas development. As you can see, there is an open space track that runs the length of that development there. I think it would be a fair question, yet I would defer that to the applicant and work with them as far as having that included in this proposal.
So noted. We will. Is there any other questions of staff? Yes? No? Okay, in that case, I'm going to ask the applicant to come up and address some of the commission's concerns. And please identify yourself for the record.
Sure. Chairman, members of the commission, Jeff Bliley, 4800 North Scottsdale Road, here in Paul Gilbert's stead this evening to answer any questions you might have on this application. Rick did a good job of explaining it. It's relatively straightforward. I would like to point out it is a member of the MOU group. There is quite an extensive amenities package associated with this 160-acre project, and we'd certainly like to ask for your recommendation for approval tonight. With regard to that trail, if I might jump right onto that one.
Jump away.
Okay. We really have no problem bringing the trail over to the edge of the property, and I can have our engineer come in and explain it, but what I understand is that open space area actually has a channel in it that they're using to convey, offsite flows through the site. It's a channel, a 4-to-1 slope that is on the Las Brisas side. We could bring the path up to Las Brisas, but they'd have to put something through that channel to provide connection to the trail. My understanding, there's no real trail in the Las Brisas development, so we can bring it up.
Well, you guys have a retention basin in, I think it's A3 area. I have to pull my preliminary plat. Bear with me. And it's called R3 in the R3 track.
Yeah,
let's
right there.
Right. We're gonna strongly recommend that you work with Las Brisas to create some connectivity along the power grid, because they're doing a trail there too. Because I remember
Are they?
They're doing a trail coming along that whole corridor. So the idea of if you hook your trail up to their trail, I don't think it's going to be a.
We'd be happy to bring it to our property line.
Fine.
Not a problem. If you'd like to add a stipulation that we bring the trail to our property line.
We'll let staff address that and put it in a memorandum of understanding. All right. Any other questions of the applicant? Seeing anybody from the public like to speak on this matter? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Is there any commission discussion? If not, I'm going to ask for a motion. And first, we're going to do a motion. I want a motion on on the first case, which is the rezoning. And I need the revisions on the steps.
So move, Mr. Chair, that we recommend zone is approximately 160.34 acres from ag zoning district to final planned area development district for residential development known as Levinson 160. And there is an addition to number 5 stipulation, which will be read into the record. The developer shall apply to Department of Water Resources for the extinguishment of type 1 rights, etc. Said extinguishment shall occur in accordance with provisions within the development agreement. And there's in number 2, stipulation that the development plan dated October 9, 2007.
I have a motion from Vice Chair DeBroker. Second, please.
I'll second.
I have a second from Commissioner Loretano. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, ayes have it, 7-0. Okay. Now I will open the public hearing for case number 075000006, Levinson 160 preliminary plat. Do you have any additional comments, Mr. Williams?
Yes, sir, I do not.
Do you have any additional comments? No? All right. Does the commission have any questions? Seeing none, I will take a motion with the appropriate amendments. Rick, do we need a change in date in anything on this one?
No, sir, just the revision to the stipulation.
Just on number 6?
Stipulation 6.
Stipulation 6. Okay, can I have a motion, please, Mr. Bay?
Yes, so moved. Chairman, we approve case number 075000006, Levinson 160 preliminary plat, with the inclusion of changes, revisions to stipulation 6.
I have a motion, can I have a second? Second. I have a motion from Commissioner Bay and a second from Commissioner Lax. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, ayes have it, 7-0. Okay, last item of business tonight is, no,
Three more.
all right. Does the, excuse me, sorry, got carried away here. Does the commission want to take a break, or does the commission?
Do this one?
No, just
The
14.
commission wants to keep moving, all right.
Oh, let's just
All right, no, that's fine. I'm gonna open the public hearing. This is case 07-200-00014, Able Ranch Mercado rezone, and the applicant is Rose Properties Southwest, and Mr. Farhad Tavasoli will present the staff report. Let her rip.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for letting me rip. Okay, well, let's begin with some contextual information about the property. The subject property in this case, and which is a rezoning proposal from its current designations to C2, and I'll tell you what those current designations are. I'll explain. You're looking here at the intersection of Citrus Road and Indian School, and the 41-acre property in this case is located on the northeast corner. Directly across the street is to the west is the site for the proposed Sadea development. Directly to the south, currently, as you can see here, it's vacant. Likewise, for the most part, to the southwest. And directly to the west, or I should say directly to the east, is the proposed 10303 mixed-use industrial development that came before you as a rezoning proposal, and that was subsequently approved by City Council. I'm skipping ahead here on the maps that I've included to the zoning map. As I mentioned, it's a 41-acre property. The 10 acres that you see here to the north is, I should say, a byproduct of the Talaverde Estates development to the north. The current current status for this property here is a preliminary PAD zoning status. What happened was the Talaverde Estates development, following a preliminary PAD approval, went forward to the final PAD stage. However, at that stage, this 10-acre property was taken out of consideration from the final PAD. Reasons being that the landowner at the time wanted to hold on to the property and explore other options. So consequently, that the yellow portion of the property that you see there currently has a preliminary PAD status and is a part of this rezoning proposal. The vast majority of the property is currently zoned agriculture. And incidentally, this delineation here separating the PAD from the agricultural designation follows the 65 DNL lines delineated by Luke Air Force Base. And so consequently, anything within the 65 DNL is restricted to certain types of uses allowed by the statutes, which includes commercial and industrial. Now onto the proposal. What the applicant is proposing is a rezoning from both the preliminary PAD zoning designation and the agricultural zoning designation to a straight general commercial or C2 zoning designation for all 41 acres here. The applicant, as you can see here, has provided a conceptual plan of what they're envisioning to be, for the most part, primarily a retail development. This map here, I think, contemplates anywhere between 300,000 to 350,000 square feet of retail space. This is conceptual at this point. If I can say, the applicant is wanting to rezone at this point for speculative purposes. Now, at a later stage, we are requiring the applicant, and you'll see this as one of the stipulations to this rezoning, the applicant would be required to provide a master site plan for the entire site either before or concurrently with the first site plan for any individual building within this area. And that is to ensure some consistency for the entire center with respect to design, architecture, open space, so many of the other elements that would make this potentially an attractive commercial development. So we've included that as a stipulation to this approval. With that, at this point, I will state that staff is recommending approval based on those, based on the stipulations before you, all 15 stipulations. At this point, I can open up to questions. The applicant is here as well to entertain any questions you might have. Thank you.
Questions of staff? Questions of staff, anyone? I have two. Farah, where, you know, I went through this. Which stipulation talks about the master plan? I just was missing it.
Site plan.
Don't see it.
Okay, so we'll add it in.
Yeah.
We'll add 16 to this. Okay, next question I have. If this goes forward, what we're basically doing is we're changing the status of the original 10-acre PAD to be incorporated into this PAD, is that correct? Or is this a rezone? This is a rezone.
This is a rezone. This is a...
So that stays as preliminary PAD, right? And
No, should this rezoning be approved, that preliminary PAD will also change to the C2 designation.
okay, then the whole parcel becomes C2,
That's correct.
and that's hard zoning.
That's correct.
Okay. Next question is, Talaverde Estates was planned and approved with some type of graduated density based on the fact that it was close to the DNL line, and this 10 acres were some of the least dense areas to be developed. How, by taking this property out of the Talaverde Estates, how does that affect the density, the graduated density requirements for Talaverde Estates?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, the graduated density concept, and I'm sure I'll be corrected if I'm wrong, would only applies to residential uses. In this case, it's a straight C2 zoning.
No, what I'm not asking about this property. I don't care. What I'm saying is, you're taking out 10 acres of basically 1 to 2 houses per acre in this part of the original Talaverde Estates PAD. So you've taken out the least dense portion in the graduated density conundrum. And now all we have left is highly dense housing. How will this affect them? And you don't have to answer this, but I'm sure it's going to come up down the road.
Sure. From what I know, from what I recall from the Talaverde Estates property, or the proposed development, the lots are fairly large. They're at least 100 by 150. So it's fairly low density to begin with. But as we move forward, I could explore that further.
As we move forward, I would strongly recommend that we have a good answer for that question.
So noted.
Any other questions of staff? Okay, would the applicant like to come up and talk? Please identify yourself.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, David Couts, Civica Development, formerly Rose Properties. I'd like to thank staff for their efforts on this project, and we concur with their recommendations.
You don't have any problem with the additional stipulation concerning the master plan development?
No, I don't, provided we have, some flexibility. It's going to be a phased project, and,
Okay, once you submit a master design plan, you can phase each project in, but it still has to comply to the master plan. You understand that?
Sure, we understand it's got to have continuity.
Okay.
We're just looking for some flexibility. It is a big piece of property. The tenants are going to drive the phasing, so.
Okay. Any questions of the applicant? All right. I'm going to close public. Would anybody in the public like to speak? I'm going to close the public hearing, and I'm going to ask any commission discussion concerning this. In that case, I'm going to ask for commission action, for a motion and commission action.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve case number 0720000014, rezoning for Abel Ranch Mercado.
Okay, can I ask the motion maker to, with the
additional stipulation that...
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, and seconder, is that okay?
That, absolutely.
All right. I have a motion from Commissioner Williams and a second from Commissioner Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, ayes have it, 7-0. Thank you. All right, next order of business is the 07350000005 wireless communication facility special use permit at the TBD properties. And I'm going to open the public hearing and let staff member Mr. Tavasoli take it away, please.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. As you said, this proposal is for a special use permit to allow a wireless communication facility at the northeast corner of Litchfield Road and MC 85. And more precisely, the lease area, which is about a little over 2,000 or about 1,800 square feet, is located directly in between these two industrial buildings, which you can see barely here. But the building to the west is currently a warehouse storing bleachers for major events, and directly to the east is a water purification facility. And I'll refer to the applicant's site plan. The lease area is located almost practically halfway between the two buildings. And more precisely, what the applicant is proposing within this leasing area is a 65-foot monopalm, which you have seen before you several times. And if I could, I'll just show you some photo simulations that the applicant has provided from before and after. This is looking north towards the railroad tracks, or I should say north, more like northwest. This is a chain link fence just north of the property boundary for the TBD property, and you can see the railroad tracks directly in front of it. And there's a 65-foot monopalm, as it would appear. Again, looking north, more of a northeasterly direction. So from public view, that is what you'll be seeing. I also have some photo sims of what it would look like from within the property, if you'd like to see those. But for the most part, that is essentially what this application entails. Staff is recommending approval based on the contingent upon the 6 stipulations before you. And with that, I'll conclude my presentation.
Questions of staff? Any questions of staff? I have a question or a comment. In an earlier discussion that the commission, that the chairman and the staff member had, we were talking about policy of additional additional monopalms in industrial, this is an industrial zone property, is that correct?
That's correct.
And the current policy is that a second monopalm, a second antenna would have to be 1,300 feet away from this. It's the chairman's desire, and I want to see if I have support on the commission, that in industrial areas that we tighten up on our co-location policy so that we would be able to group 2 or 3 of these type of facilities together so that, one, they look nice, and 2, it makes it a lot easier to get something into this thing. And I'm going to ask the commission if they would support that and see if staff could come up with a recommendation, in the future. Any comments for and against?
I don't know. I think I'd be open to look at that as a case-by-case basis. It would seem to me that any of the service providers would want to cite whether or not that's a preferred location for an existing or an additional monopole. And I think we've had those come before us before. So personally, I'm comfortable if they think that's a good site and it looks like a good use. I'm okay with them just bringing it before us.
Commissioner Loretano?
I think they look better when you add more than one, then you have a little monopalm oasis rather than there's just one thing sticking up there.
Commissioner Lax?
I would hope that they might even be a little bit buried in height.
Yeah.
Because even in the monopalm oasis, in the real world, they're not all the same height. And so, just a foot or 2.
Commissioner Miller?
I agree.
Commissioner DeBroker, Vice Chair?
I'm okay.
Commissioner
I
Williams?
have no problem with clustering in certain areas.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
In this particular application, I mean, you're correct, there's in the ordinance the reference relative to spacing of those, but it is not, as I recall, an absolute requirement. You approve these on an individual basis. As you see a next one, if one came in 30 feet from this, you don't necessarily need to take any special action
Okay.
at this time or at that time. As you recall, at Pebble Creek, next to the maintenance yard, you've approved 3 monopalms at different varying heights, as I recall. So the ordinance is a guideline in terms of, as compared to a hard ordinance that cannot be varied from. As you review these use permits, you can vary from that standard.
I think the reason I brought this up is so that we, as the commission, can give staff some guidance to, if somebody's bringing another pole or, another facility into this area, you might want to suggest that they go talk to this property owner so that we can kind of cluster these things together. And that was the spirit of the commission's recommendation.
I totally agree, and thank you for that.
All right. Is there anybody, does the applicant would like to speak? Please come up and identify yourself.
Rick Shaw with Shaw & Associates on behalf of Verizon Wireless. This is a Verizon site. I don't really have anything else to add. We'll comply with all the stipulations that the staff has recommended, so we're good to go with that.
Thank you very much. Anybody from the public like to make comment on this? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for commission action.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we recommend approval of case number 07-350-00005, a special use permit for a wireless communication facility for Verizon Wireless.
I have a motion from Commissioner Lax and a second from Vice Chairman DeBroker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it, 7-0. Okay, our last case of the evening. This is case 07-950-00001, and it is a request to approve the design guidelines for Australia Commerce Park, an approved 562-acre commercial site located near MC85 and Australia Parkway. And I'm going to open the public hearing, and our staff member Karen Craver will be presenting to us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As stated in the introduction, the property is located south of MC 85. This is Estrella Parkway running through the site, Bullard Wash, and Bullard Avenue. The PAD, Estrella Commerce Park, was reviewed by you last year and approved by council this spring, but the design guidelines were not ready at that time, so they were stepped to bring them back before you. The design guidelines include guidelines for streetscapes and open space, for the building architecture and landscape architecture, and for the signage on the property. The streetscapes identify various levels of streets, and they give identity to special intersections. The building architecture utilizes materials and colors and treatments that create unity and continuity, but still allow for some variation in the different buildings and the different users. The materials and style are very contemporary in nature, thereby promoting a modern business center for this property. The signage is also of a very modern nature. It utilizes brushed steel and concrete as their primary materials. And the guidelines also establish a design guidelines, or a design review committee that each of the buildings will go through before coming to the city for their review and approval. And staff is recommending approval of this. It will provide a consistent theme, visual continuity, and a sense of order, and establish the character for adjacent development. And the applicant is here to speak to any specific questions you may have that I can't answer.
Questions of staff? Commissioner Loretano.
I noticed it's really close to the airport. I know that since that's Phoenix property, they're developing that. I've seen different plans for that. Is there any future plan to make any connectivity between that and how that develops, or leave that open, or?
With the airport itself, staff thought that the modern nature, the clean nature of the architecture and the materials and the signage in this development would help to enhance what is going to be done at the airport itself and becoming a commerce center there as well.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Commissioner Williams.
What are the two plots that are labeled exception?
Those are existing agricultural, semi-agricultural operations. Those landowners are continuing their activities.
Thank you.
Karen, on Exhibit 14.0, which is the treescape along MC 85 at the CC location.
Can I grab mine, please?
Yeah, grab your folder. I'm trying to figure out what page to send you to.
Kill that bug. I'm sorry,
14.0, where it says, it's a fold-out page where it says MC 85.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there a reason why there's no curb and gutter on MC 85 or this design, or there just isn't curbs and gutters? Or does MC 85 have curbs and gutters and they just were left out?
Doesn't have that. There are no curbs and gutters there.
So is that ribbon?
And I don't believe that any additional improvement is going to be made to MC 85. East of Bullard Wash. So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Questions of the, well, let's have the, do you staff questions?
Yeah, I did have.
I'm sorry.
It could go on to the applicant, but I was noticing in Exhibit 19 that they call it open space on the Bullard Wash, but it's limited between a 6-parcel area, and I'm curious why this feature would not be carried on throughout the entire complex.
I think I'll defer that to the applicant.
Okay.
Good idea. Would the applicant care to address Commissioner Bay's question? And
we've done this.
And please identify yourself for the record.
For the record, my name is Todd Tupper. I'm with Sun MP Investment Properties LLC. The address is 8601 North Scottsdale Road, Suite 238, Scottsdale 85253.
It's a mouthful.
It is. Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Bay, what we really tried to do here is just simply to provide some internal connectivity between the two roadways. Board wash in and of itself in this particular area was done before the county became the sort of new and improved county flood control district. And so this reach of this wash is basically gabion structures, and it's fairly deep in here. So all we tried to do is to say that if someone was internally circulating within the project, is it just made a nice connection between the two roadways.
Okay, so then you have like a little triangular piece up at MC 85 as well. And I'm only speaking to the open space component of it.
Correct.
It just seems like it would be, if I were to work there, it would be nice to just take a nice stroll, because in your Exhibit 19, you show it fenced off with a walking area on the side. So I was just curious, why would you just do it just there? Why not just take it through the entire property?
Again, I think that really there's no reason for anybody really to go up to MC 85. All we were trying to do at that corner was just provide some little more enhancement to that thing.
Some aesthetic
So
view.
what happens is that if you were coming from the north, you actually have to go under MC 85. And again, the gabion structures are so high that we just thought that maybe there would be a nice transition point if someone wanted to try to get out of that if they could. Maybe that would be a point that we could do it. But again, there is no provision for really any kind of pedestrian kind of connectivity that you have in the other two reaches north of MC 85 and Board Wash. Again, this was done a lot ahead of before what you have been seeing in other cases before you, like the mall and south of I-10.
Okay, so then, just let me reiterate then. What you're saying then is the features that you're doing here is really just an internal amenity between the two roadways, and you're going to grade that and put walkways there for those individuals who are within and they will be able to navigate that.
Yes, they will be. And the other thing, too, is the unknown is that the I-10 reliever is coming through here, and it just simply may wipe out that whole area.
We'll make them put a park there.
So,
okay, thank you.
Other questions of the applicant? I have a question, Todd. I think on parcels like 16 and 17, were you up on?
Yes.
Were you guys getting very close to developing that, or has that been put on hold, or where do we stand? I guess basically, what are your intentions and where do we stand?
I'm glad you asked that. Yeah, we would. We'd like to show you. Yeah, if we can get this up on hold. Okay. What we are really starting to work on is, if you go back to that one of those exhibits, it's actually, if instead of 16 and 17, we're actually over in parcel 1.
Okay.
Which is on the west side of Estrella Parkway, south of MC 85. And if you would look between parcels 1 and 2 is this roadway right here. And Estrella Parkway is actually over to the right. So this is the first area that we are looking at doing these two buildings. This is a current out parcel right now that's owned by the city of Goodyear, and we're trying to talk to the city about swapping that parcel for another parcel that they need for the 157th Avenue plant.
Okay.
And then on top of that, just to give you an idea of the character, this is sort of the elevation. So this is what you would be seeing from sort of MC 85.
Okay, thank you. Question for staff: would this come before us, or would this be approved administratively?
In all likelihood, they would be approved administratively unless they need some sort of use permit for some reason.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions of staff? Any other questions of the applicant? Seeing none, I'm going to close. Anybody from the public? I'm sorry, I keep cutting the public
I think we are the public.
We are the public. All right, well, in that case, I'm going to close the public hearing. Any commission discussion? Seeing none, I'm going to ask for a motion. Somebody?
Chairman, yeah, I'd like to request approval, if I've got the right one here before me, of case number 07-950-000001, with all stipulations as provided.
Second.
All right, I have a motion for Commissioner Bay and a second for Commissioner Williams. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, ayes have it, 7-0. Next order of business is staff communication. Director Price. Sorry.
He's tired.
He's done.
Commissioner Cross. Where's Jeff and Eddie?
Maybe it's,
All right.
now it works.
You're there.
I think we only paid for electricity bill for 2 hours, so we're, a couple of things. Tomorrow, we have our Development Advisory Forum meeting at the Veneta office, in our community development offices in the conference room. It's beginning at 9 a.m., and the agenda was on the website, so if you want to attend, the commission's welcome to attend that.
What time does that begin, huh?
9 a.m.
All right.
And then a couple of things as a reminder, the APA, the Arizona Planning Conference, is in Glendale at Westgate, November 7, 8, and 9. Some of you signed up for that, just as a reminder. Also, our next regular meeting is November 14th. As you recall, our regular meeting was the 21st. We changed it to the 14th, just as a reminder. There's the good potential, we may have need a special meeting in December 5th, possibly, so the chairman's eyes got big there. That would be in addition to our regular meeting on December 19th. Also, we sent out an email regarding the annual Department of Commerce Boards and Commissions Workshop. It's a really good one-day session in Phoenix at the, I believe it's the YMCA, North Phoenix, and that's December 7th. And that's, what? YMCA, I guess, and YWCA, I guess. December 7th. So I think some of you have been wanting to sign up for that. So we'll be taking, we'll register you and take a van if you want to attend. So I think that's the extent of the meetings coming up, unless there's something I missed. Any questions?
On the APA conference, will we get some kind of packet, or is it just go up there and register when we get there that morning?
Yeah, you would register. There's a packet for you. You would pick up your registration packet. There'll be an agenda. You'll have a name tag. You'll need a name tag to get into the sessions, to get your meal ticket for lunches and things like that. So there should be, but the schedule is online if you want to go to the website. Yeah, for the sessions. But you can pick up.
Somebody send us the link, those of us who are going, can somebody send us the link
Yes.
to the
Yes.
website so we can see what the agenda is?
Yeah, I registered you.
I know that, but I just trying to figure out what time I'm supposed to be where. I have it on my to-do list.
One of them we also got a brochure on. I know Joe sent us the...
I think that's the boards and
That was the boards and commissions that we sent you. You got a brochure, and then we sent you an email on that one. That's a one-day
That's really
session.
good. That's a good one day.
It's an excellent, right. I would encourage you to go to that. That's a really good one-day session. You get a lot of good information. And it's geared towards boards and commission members and various issues relating to how you react and process and things like that. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman, unless you have any other questions.
I have, in that case, I'll take a motion to adjourn.